So check this out. I was gathering apples from this large and old apple tree. And I was here, like around the bushes here, searching for the apples that have fallen on the ground, And while I was here working, gathering things, I was here searching for them in the bushes, and then I started to sting myself in some of these plants that have these thorns. And I was like, when I stung, I think this is the correct past tense, of the word. When I stung myself in one of those thorns, I was thinking like, oh my God, the man that comes here and cuts the grass with the mower, he has to come and just clean these things because it's full of thorns and like we just sting in them. And that was my first thought. It's like it's just an impulsive, knee-jerk reaction like thought. Was the first thought is like, oh my God, these thorns, is like somebody come with a mower, the gas-powered mower, and just take all of this out because we sting ourselves in it. And then immediately as the thought arose, immediately I seen the unnaturality of this thought. It's like, the first unnaturality, look at this. I don't know if it comes on the camera, but this is like a wild rose hip bush. It has these tiny thorns and you can easily not see it, and like it comes in the pants and in the legs, and while I was thinking that thought of like, oh, this should immediately be cut down with the electric mower of the gas-powered mower, I immediately recognized the unnaturality of the thought as well. Because for once, first of all, there is the unnaturality of the thorns and the wild rose hip bushes growing wild like this, and all sorts of other plants that have all sorts of thorns to them, or even like small things that like grab onto the pants, and such inconvenience is like definitely we can see that it's almost like this current version of nature is almost unfriendly towards this current version of human beings, which have this type of skin and this type of legs and arms, and they are walking and doing this type of activities right now. It's almost like some parts of this type of nature is antagonistic with some parts of this type of humans. So that's the first unnaturality. It's like some parts of nature which seem to be unfriendly towards this current version of human being. And then there is the second unnaturality which comes from the human being, which is like nature, okay, it's creating thorns to protect itself, to protect its life. This rose hip bush is creating these thorns in order to protect itself, basically. It just wants to survive, it just wants to exist. It's fighting for its life in this way, by building thorns. So this is the first unnaturality, that the rose bush itself has to find strategies for survival. It has to find a way to survive, man, just like we do. Just like human beings have for thousands or who knows how many tens of thousands of years have been striving to survive, have been fighting to survive, have been killing one another in the nature and the things around to survive. Everything just tries to survive. Look at this rose hip bush. It's just found a strategy to survive better by building thorns. So this is the unnaturality. It's both ways. It's both in the nature and in our psyche. It's both within us and outside of us as well. Everything just wants to survive. Everything just wants to exist, and it fights for that survival, man. Somehow, why? Why do we have to fight for survival, man? What the heck is this world and this reality where everybody has been tamed by this paranoid fear of death and lack of resources and the need for dominance and fighting for survival, man? What the heck is this? What is it happening with all of us? With human beings, with animals, with plants, with nature? What's happening? So the second unnaturality is that now you have this rose hip bush that has built these thorns in order to survive better. And then human beings, the clever ones, have invented tools that they say, oh, this rose bush annoys me. It has thorns and it stings me when I want to collect apples. I'll just build a tool with which I can fastly chop in a way or cut all and everything. A metallic tool with which I can come and just cut away everything, all the thorns, all the bushes, everything, just for me to not sting myself in the leg anymore. And the human being, because he's the smart one, he does just that. He invents a tool and he comes and freaking cuts everything away. So that's just another fight. So the human being is now fighting with the rose bush. It's continuing the survival fight here. Me continuing the survival fight with the rose bush. There is zero comprehension in this action of building a tool and coming and cutting everything down, so you're imposing your dominance over the environment. There is zero building a relationship, re-establishing the communication with everything else. There is zero communion, there is zero communication. It's just the dominant one coming and killing everything that is lesser or weaker than it. It's just the same survival race. It's just the same war or fight for dominance and power. Dominating the weakest. The stronger dominating and killing the weakest. So both are unnatural. Both the thorns in this simple plant that just wants to survive, and the electric mower that comes and cuts it down because of the thorns. Both of these actions are unnatural. there is a naturality both ways. Not only in this rosehip bush, and not only in the human psyche, in the human mind that builds the electric mower with which to cut this rosehip, thorny bush. But it's in both of them, the unnaturality, both in this simple life form, this rosehip bush, and in our psyche. The unnaturality is in everything. It has been staining and tainting everything. It has been infiltrating in everything. In the plants, in the animals, in the human beings, in everything. But it is my observation and my internal strong sensation that it is in our hands, in the hands of human beings. We might be the ones that hold the possible key in our hands that is able to restore everything to its natural form. We might have the ability to do this because the animals, the plants, the weather even, might not be capable of changing the course of this evolution, of this unnatural evolution. But we human beings, we might be able to make a choice which is different, to sanitize ourselves, literally, through different type of, by changing our internal psyche and our external actions, by bringing a new type of sanity to this world, which has been stained by this unnaturality, by sanitizing it literally. It might be in our hands that we are able to do this. Otherwise, left on its own, this entire reality with all of its inhabitants, including animals, plants, insects, marine life, and human beings, might just continue on a downward spiral of unnaturality. If there is no conscious force applied to this reality from some beings which are capable of applying this conscious force, this reality might just go spiraling into more and more circles of unnaturality. But I feel that this is why we are here, some of us. It's because we are capable of bringing this sanity to this world. Because we are capable of sanitizing this reality. We are capable of anchoring through the force of spirit, in a way. The force of the true sun to this reality. And it is only by that light that everything is sanitized. Everything starts feeling again lesser and lesser afraid and more loved, more and more in connection with what it itself is. It is only through the light of spirit that this reality can restore itself from unnatural to natural. And spirit only means conscious presence, lucidity and awareness. This is what the true light of spirit means. It's nothing sophisticated. It's just doing the same actions that we are doing. But being fully here, fully invested and aware with our entire being and our entire attention to the action that we are doing. It's like gathering apples, but with zero thoughts. I'm gathering apples and I'm just being here with all the sensations, with the wind on my skin, with the sun, with the smells, with the apples, with everything that I feel internally when I touch them. And all the sensations that are evoked within myself. By seeing the colors, the smells, everything, I'm fully present. Or I try to be as fully present as I can. This is what bringing spirit means. It's simple. It's just doing the same actions that we are already doing, but doing them with conscious presence and lucidity and awareness. And on the spot, it might seem like, oh, nothing is happening. I've just gathered some apples with lucidity. Nothing happened. The world remained the same. How can this be? How can this mean changing the world? Just gathering apples in a state of awareness. It didn't change anything. I woke up the next day and the life was just the same. And I can understand how this appears like this. But the true fact is that much changes out of this practice, out of this seemingly simple practice. Much, in fact, changes. But it just takes time for our mind to start understanding and recognizing the changes. Because at first the mind might consider the changes as coincidences or synchronicities, or oh, that thing just happened out of just a coincidence, it's nothing related to my my practice of awareness, because the mind can't comprehend that first. It literally can't comprehend that awareness has power. But the mind, because the mind has been so accustomed with mental activity, it can't even comprehend that there is a lot more power in solving situations by stopping the mental activity rather than increasing it. So of course the mind will not believe that just by stopping its activity will actually bring a better result to the reality one is experiencing. Of course the mind might not comprehend this at first, and it's normal. So this is why there is this, at first there might be this disbelief, like, yeah, sure, I'll just stop thinking and then everything will be fine. Sure. The mind might not believe it at first, for sure, because the mind just wants to continue its activity. So it might be natural that we might find ourselves in this belief that this practice has an actual power to it. It's natural that there is this stage that we have to go through, this stage of disbelief. It might be natural that we have to go through it. But once we continue the practice, even despite the disbelief, but we just continue the practice of this awareness. With time, the evidences might start to become more and more clear. We might see how our entire being changes, our entire perspective of reality changes, and thus our responses and our view of ourselves and our responses to situations change. And by having different responses, then the entire reality visibly starts to change. And then sometimes it changes at the macro level happen, seemingly coincidental, as one's level of awareness expands more and more. The outer world starts responding differently, completely differently, once one's level of awareness starts to change. And again, we are speaking about levels of awareness, not levels of consciousness, which are different. Awareness has no level in a way to it. It's just one single level, it's just awareness, while consciousness can have many, many levels to it. Awareness is only one single thing that never changes. It's one single level, level 0. So this is how we can bring spirit to this world. It's as simple as collecting apples, but in a state of lucidity and awareness, fully here with every sensation, with every feeling that I feel internally when I touch them, with the sensations in my body and with any other inspiration that comes to me, because so much is coming, so much intuition, so many inspirations, so much knowledge is coming when I am staying in this state of lucidity and presence. It's knowledge that I wouldn't have ever been able to think about. Things that I would have never been able to even invent if I wanted to. My mind wouldn't have had the ability to think the things and the ideas and the inspirations that are coming when I'm staying in this state of lucidity and presence. So much is happening in this state that becomes unspeakable, and the thing that I'm seeing is that many of us, and perhaps this is another call in a way to the beings that are listening to this, is that if we are not starting to practice this awareness practice, I know that this might sound a bit strange, but we are actually and literally falling behind on this stuff, man. Because this is, by staying in this state of lucidity and presence, there is so much evolution in a way that it becomes like an exponential quantic evolution that you can't even explain it anymore. So if another being doesn't do this practice, there is almost no even the ways to communicate with these beings that are not practicing awareness at all, not staying in this heart state, in this heart sense at all. It becomes almost impossible to describe reality anymore, or to talk anymore, or to be able to comprehend oneself with the others anymore that are not practicing and are not experiencing themselves what this truly means. Because we can talk about it as much as we want. We can talk about it for days and months and years. But talking about it, I can stay here and just create endless videos like this one. But just continuing to talk about it will do nothing. And reasoning about it and arguing about awareness and will do nothing. It will change nothing at all. Awareness and this truth will remain the same. But the beings that are practicing this and experiencing this through their own experience will comprehend this. And the ones that are not experiencing this will stop comprehending, and it will become more and more strange as time moves on, because, as I said, the evolution is so enormous that if you're not catching this and you're not experiencing this for yourself, at some point you might not even, you might remain so behind in a way that you might not be able to actually comprehend what this is entirely is about, because it might seem so distant to you. This is why I've decided to also say this, because we might need to just hop in on this boat, man. This is a boat. Spirit is a sort of boat, life-saving boat. And we need to hop into it. We need to start practicing this. This is an entirely new way of living. It's an entirely new way of life. And in my opinion, and through everything that I'm feeling internally extremely strongly and clearly, this is the next life. This is the new type of life that is occurring right now on planet Earth. And we need to make the jump. This is a quantum jump. We need to hop in the boat, because this is the next life. This is the life that is going to occur from now on. And if we are hopping in this boat, we are basically buying our ticket to this new type of living life that is going to unfold from now on. But if we are not practicing awareness, and if we are not working with our spirit, and if we are not living our life consciously with lucidity and awareness, then it is just a way of things that it is our mind and our entire being, it's remaining behind. It's remaining behind. It's like evolving from the monkey to the human being. It's like evolving from a there is a scientific name for monkey, but anyway. So evolving from a monkey to Homo sapiens, and then now is the next evolution from Homo sapiens to the next Homo spiritus, let's call it, because lack of a better word. It's just a different type of being altogether, which in the end will resemble almost zero this current human being. We are evolving to a next type of form altogether. But this is a call to hop in the boat of change. This is a call to do this effort for yourself that will eventually grant you access to this new type of form, life form, which is this next type of human being, which is currently undergoing, and it is a change. It is metamorphosizing itself and unfolding as we speak. More and more beings are called to embody this practice and to start basically evolving themselves, quantically jumping to this new type of human being. And this new type of awareness, this new type of consciousness is one that is perfectly, in a way, constantly, lucidly aware and in contact and in communion with everything. It's a perfect communication with everything at all levels. But we have to practice this awareness first to get to this type of communion with everything. It can only happen through awareness. And awareness can only be a conscious choice. That's the thing. We and only we can decide to do this process for ourselves. Nothing can push us to do this. Nothing can convince us. Either we do it from our own decision and through our own individual effort, or this evolution is not happening without conscious effort and conscious choice. This is why I think in the so-called story with Adam and Eve and heaven, and like Eve ate from the apple because the snake told her, if you eat from this apple, you will be like God. This is the resolution of their entire journey. We are living right now the resolution of their entire journey in hell. They have went through an entire journey in hell, Adam and Eve, and now finally they are coming again together, the masculine and the feminine, Adam and Eve, they are coming again together in us because they are concluding their story in hell. They have understood the meaning of it. They are ready to move on. And what happens next is that they become like, quote unquote, God. What this means is that they gain the ability to decide for themselves, to be their own beings, equals to the so-called God. So because they have to decide for themselves, they have learned to take autonomous decisions. And this is why this evolution can only be a conscious choice. We can only evolve ourselves to our true human state, the so-called God state, which is just our true natural state of our true humanity, only through a conscious choice, only through a conscious effort. This is how we can become like God, quote unquote. This is how we can become truly autonomous beings, standing on our own two feet. If evolution would just push us the way it pushed humanity, where would our own autonomous force be if life would just push us into our next realizations? We have to decide for ourselves to take this effort of awareness and to take up this practice for ourselves. Nothing can convince us, nothing can push us. These videos and everything that I'm saying is just a call. It's just having it's like having a lifeboat and just calling up whomever feels called. Whomever feels the need to hop in the boat, this is just a call. Because this is happening as we speak. The evolution is happening as we speak. And at some point, the gap between the old human beings and the new human being that is being birthed right now will be so huge. It's like that boat departing itself more and more from the shore, that it will be so huge, the gap, that there might not be a chance to get in the boat later. You might need to make even more effort there. Then you have to swim or who knows to get in the boat. But now the boat is here. And it's close to everyone. It's right in their nose right now. It's just so close. It's just you have to do almost just the slightest move towards awareness, towards spirit, and it is already there to embrace you and help you out with all this process and make it easier for you to do it. It's just the slightest choice right now can tip the balance for you and make you hop in the boat. This is why these videos are here. And not only these videos that I put out, but resources from other beings that they are making the same call. This is what we have been feeling in our hearts since we were children. This is the call that has always been existing in this reality here, but we haven't heard it. But now it became more and more urgent, so more and more beings have started to make the call in their own way. So let's see where this boat takes us, because we don't know. I don't know where this boat will take me. I have no idea what this world is. I have no idea what is up to next as I continue with this awareness process. I have no idea, but I'm just so that the unfoldment that happened until now became almost miraculous. So whatever happens next, I just know that this is the path now. So we don't know where this boat will take us, but we can discover it together. So this is an invitation to this boat. Let's start practicing awareness together. Let's see where this takes us.